Hey, Bashir.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
What's going on?
Happy, what is it, Wednesday? We're
Happy Wednesday to you.
starting to blur together. How's the
Hey,
weather?
it's not too bad today. We're like in
Okay.
the mid 40s, but the sun is shining.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It's in the mid 70s here, but it's raining. So
Where are you?
West Palm Beach.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Lucky.
yeah. So yeah, mid 40s is not the best for us down in West Palm.
Nah, not at all. Matter of fact, 70s might be on the on the low end for you guys.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's like middle of winter for us.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
Excellent. Hi, Jeff. I don't know if Jeff can hear us or not. Jeff, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, got you now.
Paul?
Excellent. So hey, Bashir, Alex had a note from me because she's on another call today with some clients. So I'm here for office hours. She said she got your pipeline, but she wanted you to add in the amounts and goals or numbers.
Okay.
So yeah, she just wanted you to work on that. Because yeah, you'll probably be going over that in the pipeline call tomorrow. So just wanted to make sure you were ready for that.
Got it. Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay, good. Anything what's going on, guys? Anything, what can we help with? Guess Charlie is still connecting.
I had a question about and maybe I'll bring it up tomorrow in the pipeline discussion, but in the drop down, will you categorize exactly what stage the client is in? I didn't find one that matches where we are with these particular clients. So do we add it or we put it in the notes or what?
Yeah, so what does it feel like it's close to? I don't have that drop down right in front of me.
Well, we're in the process of doing the cybersecurity risk assessment for them,
Okay.
which,
Uh,
usually then I mean that's the stage right before we get ready to close the deal.
right. Well, yeah, have you given a proposal yet?
Nah, not yet.
Okay.
That, that
Do you
comes
have the drop down right there in front of you? If you want to give
uh,
me if you can read off the choices, I can.
yeah, I can. Deal stage, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
So it's
different.
a discovery call scheduled, qualified to buy, proposal with decision maker, technical win, contract sent, closed, won, closed, lost.
Okay. So you haven't sent the contract yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay. Does it say technical win after contract? So normally I would have put that.
Yeah.
Before.
It's a proposal with decision maker, technical win, and then contract sent.
Okay.
Technical win,
Oh, I see what I see. Yeah. Okay. And what's right before proposal with decision maker?
qualified to buy.
Okay. You've qualified them already. They have the need.
They do.
I'd probably be putting them in there because if you're doing this a risk assessment right now, that would
Yeah.
end up being kind of part of your proposal. Next step would be say, hey, we did the risk assessment. You did great on these 20 things, but these 5 things, you really have a problem. And for us to handle that for you and take it all over, it's going to be blah blah blah.
Okay.
Technical win isn't necessarily you can apply it to managed services, but that's a standard pipeline that's like used in HubSpot. So a lot of times it could be a software company that's selling a software. So that's what technical win is. It's like, yep, hey, if it does everything you say and it costs, $10,000, that's great. Okay, but our engineers want to take a run through it and make sure it really does what you're telling us what it does. It could be you guys could utilize it the same way. If they're saying, yeah, can you, you could use it. They could say something like, "Is there someone else that you've worked with that we could, get some, a reference for your services?" That could be could be considered a technical win for a service company. It's not like you're proving to them, your tech stack works. They're probably not that sophisticated to do that anyways.
Okay.
And so, and if not, if they're not asking for anything else, then fine, you just gloss right over that. But I'd say you're just that last step. You're kind of putting together the ammunition for the proposal. If you're in the security assessment.
Okay, that makes sense. That's where we'll put it at.
Alex Dinner. Are you here, Alex? She may just be on here to open the meeting, although she really didn't have to because maybe she just opened it before. I'm not sure she's actually there. How about you, Jeff? Any things you guys got cooking or any questions?
No, just trying to figure out the flow of what's going on here. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, in terms of what happens here today in office hours?
yep, pretty much.
Yeah, office hours are just, it's like back if you were in school, right? And the professor or teacher said, "Hey, yeah, if anyone wants to come, I'm going to be hanging around my office between 3 and 4 this afternoon if you have any questions or need help with anything." So this is just the time, like Bashir just had that question about, how do you place someone in the pipeline? How do you analyze those different slots? Could be, hey, I'm having trouble with this kind of objection. Any problems you're having with any deals or generating pipeline or anything like that, just kind of your opportunity to chat with us and brainstorm on, kind of best practices or fixing a specific situation.
Okay, cool.
I mean, if there's, nothing you're working on or you have a problem, everything's going smooth, then, you can hang on and listen and, that's fine too. But you don't have to come to an office call if there's nothing specific you need some help with.
Okay, very good.
So, any other stuff? How are things going, Bashir? I know you guys just started, like last week, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I wasn't sure who he was asking questions to. So,
Yeah. So Jeff, did you guys just start as well?
no, I've been working with Dean for 6-9 months or so. But we just.
But yeah, I knew you were working
with
with Dean, but in TechSellerate, yeah.
TechSellerate here this past week. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the normal kind of cadence is were you on the Monday call?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that's where we do a little training, kind of what are the plans for the week, objectives, what's the sales strategy or anything else that's going on. Tuesday and Wednesday, we have the office hours where you can pop on and talk about a specific deal you're working on. And then Thursday, have you been to a pipeline meeting yet?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. So tomorrow is pipeline, and what pipeline. So Alex will take you through. I don't know if she's done this already with you, but and that's what the Bashir was talking about. We have a pipeline template, so kind of everyone's working on the same, the same grid, and the idea is you're filling your pipeline in, and then every week Alex picks a couple people to kind of go over their pipeline, and making sure everything's filled out properly. Any questions? What's the plan to move people from stage 1 to 2 to 3 to 4? So it's just kind of a brainstorming, and you listen. Sometimes you're kind of going through your pipeline, and sometimes you're going through somebody else's, but you can learn from what they're doing. It's kind of a team working, but it's an accountability session too, right? That everybody should be ready to go and have their pipeline, ready to roll.
Okay. Cool.
She probably won't throw you on the hot seat here on your first time, so no worries. But Bashir, you had the free ride last week, so you could.
Yeah. Yep. I used my last lifeline. So
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I did have just a follow up from the Monday meeting.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up all the time, but if anybody else has anything they want to discuss or contribute, I'll just wait.
Well, I think it's just you and Jeff, because Steve's autopilot is it's just a recording
Okay.
system. So Steve, when you set it up, it just like looks at your calendar and it joins the meeting, and it assumes you're going to, and then it just has a recording of all this, so he can watch it later.
Okay. I'll put this there in the chat real quick. Because we were talking, I actually had to jump off the Monday meeting. I had an emergency call suddenly, but before I got off the call, we were talking a little bit about how we were able to get our customers in the past. And so we were just talking about how we've always gotten our customers through referral, word of mouth, and how that can be effective. Definitely, the close rate is pretty high, but it's inconsistent, and then you don't get a lot of that. And I was telling the group that I would say on average we probably onboard about 2 clients per year. And we would like to, through our marketing efforts, increase that to 2 clients a month if possible. I mean, that would provide exponential growth for us. And so Dean was just saying how with the referral process, it's going to be almost impossible to get there unless we focus on these four aspects of marketing, I guess: referral, systems, marketing, and partnerships. And
yes.
So what I was trying to do is get a little bit more insight into the actual systems aspect of it. Like what I know we had talked with Alex about some tools, setting up the whole CRM and all that stuff. My assumption is that systems refer to like the whole dialers and automated stuff and LinkedIn, stuff like that. And so I don't know if you guys had maybe like a list, like a general list of all of the different types of systems, and then
we do, and we actually even have where we have kind of partnerships with a number of companies that we think their products are good, and we think HubSpot is a good CRM. It has a lot of capabilities. You can buy it at different levels. Salesforce is great, but it's really for bigger companies. Quite honestly, it's pretty expensive and it's pretty complex. HubSpot, has a lot of complexity too. There are a number of CRMs. Not like we're saying, hey, you need to use this, or you need to use that. That's just the one that we kind of specialize in. And if you needed help setting that up, we have a team that do a couple people that do that. But you just need to talk to with Alex, about adding that on as an action for you guys, because obviously it takes hours to set that up. The other parts of the systems, so I think of the systems as like an ecosystem, right? And your CRM is the center of your sales and can be a center of your marketing, the technical, commercial systems. And then there are things that everything you want to have that integrates into the CRM, so that whenever someone's making a call, they're following up with a client, everything gets logged in there, so say one of your sales guys, goes on vacation or gets hit by a bus or leaves for another company, you still have all the information on all, their 10 clients they're working within that, within your pipeline. So you can see everything there. So it's really great for management. And it's also great because you can schedule tasks and you can see what your guys are doing or you're doing. It'll remind you, hey, this guy wanted you follow up in 2 weeks. Great. Pops up as a task for today, and it'll send it out to you. So it's a really good organizational tool as well. in the bigger ones, most of the other technologies will integrate into it. So some of the other types of systems, one is a dialer, right? So you can if you put a list, because I know you go after a certain kind of a nonprofit sector, right? So if you have it could even be a regional or a nationwide list, right? That goes beyond the whole referral piece. But you have a ton of experience, and you probably have that would be another thing if you have case studies or testimonials from people that are already in that. So if do you have an SDR, anyone that's calling out and trying to make appointments for you?
No.
Okay, so you guys are doing that all on your own. That's where a dialer comes in. If you wanted to get one of the ways to do it is to SDR, sales development rep. So it's kind of it's like your first sales job kind of thing, right? And this is a guy that should be calling out and making like 100 calls a day, but that's hard to do if you're sitting there manually punching numbers in, right? So it would be a dialer. Say you get a list of 2,000 nonprofits that you want to go after, foundations.
Hold on right there.
Sure.
Where would you get those numbers from? You buy them from a company or what?
Yeah, so that's another system you could purchase into. So one that we like is called Apollo. Apollo.io.
Okay.
And what that is, Jeff, have you guys used Apollo at all, or any of the other database companies?
Yeah, I mean, we're using Apollo internally here, but then Imprint's been doing like Zoom info and stuff for us as well. So we've got data coming from multiple places. So
yeah. So Bashir, Jeff, when he's talking about Imprints, that's an outsourced SDR company that we work with. So it would be, and we can get that set up for you as well, obviously. And yeah, so the guys need that list, right? So what Apollo is it's a massive database. I don't have it up here at the moment. I forget. Maybe Jeff, you might remember. If you don't put any filters in, it will say, hey, we have 25 million companies, right? And you're going to say, okay,
right.
that's probably too much to try to tackle.
Right.
It's going to have everyone from, Volkswagen to, an insurance agency that's a decent size down the street. So it'll, it's going to be from the biggest to the smallest, but you can go in there and do filters, right? So you only want people in the, companies in the US. You only want companies that are in this certain industry, like, nonprofit or foundations or something like that. You only want companies that are of a certain size, maybe a revenue size. You're not looking to go after the American Cancer Society, right? You're looking at, smaller size, because they probably have a staff of 25 IT people or 200, I don't know. So
right.
you can filter it down and get a reasonable list. And you can say, look, I only want people in this town or this city. So it really depends on what you go after, right? Because you have a specific vertical that you guys focus on. And Jeff, I don't know, I can't remember if you guys do as well. You're working with a lot of cloud stuff, right?
Yeah, we pretty much just exclusively do cloud compute, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when I was on a call with you, I guess it was, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or so, something like that. We were kind of talking about strategies for going after those cloud guys. What are the terms that you might want to, I don't know if it's put in like this, but I thought of it later, like mobile workforce. Seems like, because that's where you were getting traction, right? With like a plumber that has 10 guys on the road, or delivery services, things like that.
Yeah, remote workers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if it breaks it down exactly like that in Apollo. I haven't tried that. I think you can do keywords though.
Yeah.
The other thing in Apollo, when you're narrowing down, have you looked at, actually I do have it up here. It's called buying intent or buying signals.
Yeah. We've tried a couple different buying signals. So right now we're just pretty much using Apollo for email campaigns at the moment, just because I don't know. we've been trying to throw stuff to Imprint, but they haven't really been working on it. So we're just changing how we're using it. So
Okay. Are you providing them with like a list to go after and they're not doing it, or?
yeah, we've given them a list. We've been through, I think, I don't know, probably 4 different BDRs now. So
Hmm.
um, now we're just having a problem with them getting anybody to show up. So
Hmm.
I think if we've been, gosh, I'm averaging about 1.1 meetings per month since we've started working with them. So, and that's subpar. So,
Yeah, no, that's not good. I have a call with Dean later today, and I'll talk with him, see if we can come up with some other strategies. There are some other companies that will do things like they get paid. There's no upfront cost to it, and you give them a list. You give them. I'll have to check that. They may even go get their own list, because I think they do, because they use Apollo and Zoom. There's a number of there's a number of these companies that have like these massive databases of all these companies, and not only it's not just the company, so it's not like you just call on the main number. They'll say the CEO is Steve Smith, and the chief CTO is so and so, and here's his number, and here's his email, and here's his LinkedIn profile. So it gives you all the details behind that, which is when you're reaching out, being proactive, you need that stuff. And SDRs are just the idea is that they're just doing a cold call out. They might send something out ahead of time. They set up a cadence usually, so they'll send them a couple emails, then they'll call, they'll leave a voicemail, call again, leave a voicemail, send another email. So usually like a 7 to 10 or 15 touch strategy, reaching out to each prospect. So that's why having a system that lets them working through and going through hundreds a day, so their tasks just get lined up, boom, 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 and then the auto dialer is just looking for the next one on the list that's dialing out. So it becomes like a machine, because it's a volume game. So that's a traditional SDR model, and that's what Jeff has been working with, but hasn't been getting the level of results we want, for sure. There's other companies that will take on they do it a little differently, and they get paid either for the appointments they set, or there's a company I talked to a couple of weeks ago. They don't, there's no upfront money, but what they'll do is they will take a percentage of any deal that you close. So and obviously it behooves them to give you and more calls and meetings for you to close. I'm not quite sure. I guess it's the hey Brian, nice, good to see you.
Hi.
We were just talking about outbound and trying to get some drive more appointments, going through some of the different ways and the different kinds of companies that are out there. What I don't know with those guys, that they'll set the meetings. They have kind of a whole system that they've perfected. And then say you set you have an ARR for this new client you brought on board of $100,000. I don't know, whatever the amount is for the year. And I don't remember what the percentage. I want to say it might be 20% of that they would. I'd have to look it up. But if you guys are interested, I can talk to Dean and Alex and get you the information for that. It's just a different way of going about it, right? They take a bigger piece of the pie, but if you don't close anything, you're paying nothing. So it's basically they're taking the risk with you. And I guess that it's just they work on I don't know if there's any way that they can tell when you closed a deal. I guess they're just taking it on that you're good, honest people, and you'll tell them when you close a deal. But I'm not positive on that. But if you guys are interested in something like that, let me know. So the systems, Bashir, they work in conjunction with these activities, right? But you have to have the people to do it. And I know, you're one of the guys that's running the company, so it's hard for you. It's not like you're gonna shut the place down so you can sit there for 4 straight days and just be on the phone all day doing it. It's not a good use of your time, quite honestly. And I think the other things that Dean mentioned to you, marketing and partnerships are really good ways to go about this as well, especially if you have a certain target market that you're going after. So I'll give you an example of a way you could go after a market utilizing, marketing strategy. So if you're going after nonprofits, and maybe there's a subset within nonprofits you're going after, doing some research and finding out what kind of organizations nonprofits belong to. So it's like the American Nonprofit Association, and they have 3 events per year, but they have a newsletter that goes out every week to all of their members. And that could be something where you'd put an ad in that newsletter, or you go to their events, or you do a webinar with them. So there's in almost any vertical industry, whether they're a lawyer or a medical, or there's, when you get into big ones like medical, right, there's all kinds of subsets. Actual medical, right, that where a doctor belongs is not the same as what an IT director in the medical community. So medical technology, they probably have their own, what used to be a magazine, right, but they have their own website, and they're a media group that works with that group. So those are ways utilizing kind of marketing strategy, finding out. The way I always say it is, where do these guys, when they walk into the office in the morning, grab their cup of coffee before things start, they go on a website and check things out, what's going on, right? And if you're a tech person, you might go to CIO.com, or if you're, whatever it might be. Where are they going? Where can you reach your audience? They're going to spend money this year to go to a conference. Who are they going to go with? Who have the big conferences? Maybe, you can spend, depends on the size of the company and the conference. Sometimes they're really cheap, and sometimes they're super expensive. But if you have a vertical market you're able to go after and have specialized, that's a really good way to try to grow your business. You have a question?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. There's a huge conference coming up directly related to the clients we're trying to go after. It's in March in Seattle. So we're going to try to be there. So we're going to try to put together a strategy for how to.
Have you talked to them yet?
Not yet. I'm going to be reaching out so we can get a table and doing all that jazz.
Yeah. Ask them for, ask them, they'll give you all the options. They call, they send a prospectus, and it's going to tell you why you should be there and who the kind of people are. There's going to be different, probably, exhibitor levels, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, and they could go anywhere from a couple $1,000s to, $150,000, depending upon the conference.
Right.
So, and then there may be other marketing opportunities at the conference. But then if this conference is it put on by a media group, or who's actually, or an association?
I think it's a national association.
Okay. They probably are doing consistent communication with their members. So my suggestion would be, don't just see, this is going to be the first time you're being exposed to this group, right? They've never heard of your company before, don't know you. Sounds interesting. Okay, we'll think about it. But if you can, find out what else they do throughout the year, right? Maybe there's a way that, every month, you're getting in front of them, even in a small way, advanced IT to take your nonprofit to the next level. We specialize. There's a quote from one of our, testimonials are great with that, right? Because it's one of their peers is saying, these guys are awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So think about it like that too. I always encourage people, don't think about it as a one hit. Like they'll go spend $7,000 and they're like, yeah, it was kind of good, but then we didn't end up, getting that much out of it. And it's like, okay, but you just like tipped your, it's like, I'm not a good swimmer, but you only, walked in and put your feet in the water for 10 minutes and then said, I'm not a good swimmer. Right? It's like, it takes time to build, just like you've been building your business for years, right? So it's kind of a consistent, campaign to make some impact. So think about that too, because you don't want to blow it all at one spot, right?
Right.
And maybe not, it's just like when you watch television, right? You see the ads. It's not like this first time you see the ad for whatever it is and you jump on the phone or you run to the store and get it. It's like the 10th time and you go, yeah, you think about it the first 9 times. And then the 10th time you yell over it to your wife or, whoever. And yeah, that looks pretty good. We should get that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All of a sudden now you were in the buying cycle, but it took 10 times. Forget about after the first time. So just be thinking about that a little bit. That makes sense. And Brian, sorry, we're kind of going down a road here on driving some new business. If you had anything special too, we can veer off.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was either Nick or Alex. I wanted to talk about importing my systems into their Excel spreadsheet and such. But if they're not here today, then I'll just have to come back and get that done.
Yeah. Alex is in another client meeting, and so she asked me to stop in and kind of work through. But I can work through most things, but something like doing an import is probably I'm not the best guy for that. You could drop a note to Nick, just drop him an email. You guys maybe could jump on a call or something like that.
Yeah, I'll do that. But and it's always good to still just listen to the ideas and such like that you guys are throwing around. I like hearing the suggestions and things like that, because now we have a new guy, Charlie, who I thought he was on this call, but I guess he's not, who is an SDR, Bashir, and his job is to reach out and call people and stuff like that. So he works directly for Kevin and us, and his job is to make calls every day, reach outs, contacts, log them in the database, ones that are any kind of potential at all. Then I go after ones that are no potential that he gets rid of and we don't follow up, and ones that he hasn't reached, he puts in the database to reach back out. So that's an option as far as I know you guys were bandying about ideas.
Yes.
How do you contract with him, or what's the arrangement?
So I mean, he's an employee for Kevin. So I mean, that's one thing you can do. I mean, is to hire someone whose sole purpose is to do that. And whether it's on a contract basis, so it's not like you have to sit there and say, I'm going to give you full medical, blah blah blah. What you say is, we're going to contract you out for a month or 2 and see how this is working. And if you're pulling in the business and pulling your weight, then we'd love to give you benefits and such, that type of thing. So you can see how it goes.
Okay, so he's doing 40 hours for you guys to start?
He's doing 40 hours for us, and he's been learning the systems and things like that so that he can speak to people about getting me the appointment. Then his sole job is to get me appointments so that I can be talking to people, so because I used to do that when I was younger. I'm an old man now. But yeah, and now my title would be senior sales AE or something like that, because I've gone to the level now where I did that for quite a while. I mean, one of my first jobs was a 40-hour a week, just calling people and passing those leads on to the AEs. And that's what, and then the AEs would take, and then I would get a piece of the commission if the AE closed the deal. So that was another incentive. So it wasn't a huge paying job. Okay. Back then it was 30,000, which was nothing, but I got commission on top of that. So say I passed on to Bob, this guy, and I said, hey, this guy's and if Bob closed that deal, so I would be on Bob's ass all the time. Bob, how's this going? Hey, this guy's good. But what's going on with this guy? That way, and if he closed Bob, then I would get, a 5 to 10% piece of it. So it's just, throwing ideas out at you.
Yeah, and Bashir, that's like I was saying, that's kind of a normal cadence, right? You have the SDR, and then you throw them up to the account exec and AE, right? Who's a more seasoned sales guy that can really close the deal, knows all the the technical pieces, really knows how to sell, and knows the industry. But it would be like such a waste for Brian to be sitting there just dialing, because when you're dialing, Brian, how many out of 100 dials, how many times when you're an SDR, how often do you actually get someone talk
Right.
to talk?
Right. You don't get most of the day, you don't get many people. You celebrate, if you get one or two. I don't know why my camera's not on here. I thought I have it
It
on
was
here.
on there for a second. There you are.
Can you see me now?
No, it was there a second ago. Whatever you did, that's
Oh.
it. I can see you now.
Oh, you can? Okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, exactly. So I would literally sat Bashir right next to the marketing person in my cube. And yeah, it was dialing for dollars. We made jokes,
Dollars, I like that.
It's purely a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
And that's why like the number, kind of the magic number they say for an SDR is like 100, 100 calls a day with getting through to like 2 people. But you probably left, 57, voicemails, and hopefully some of those triggered. And so then when he calls them again the next week, he's going to get, oh, that guy Brian, he left me that message. It's like, okay, and he hits them 6, 7 times, and then it sends them an email, and then it's like we talked about with the commercial. It's the same concept. It's all the same. It takes a little while. People are busy and they have a million things in their mind, but you hit them a few times, and if it's important, then they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe I should take a minute to check this out.
Yep. I did that. I did that for a good 2 years, Bashir, where all I did was SDR work, and I had advanced AEs that I would pass it on to. And
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that it's better to have someone with no experience do SDR? Is it better than not doing any SDR at all, or having that role at all? Can it be counterproductive? Can it work against you to have somebody inexperienced?
I didn't have much experience when I started.
I would say you're going to get it's hard to find an SDR with a lot of experience, right? Because it's a burnout kind of position, right?
Yeah.
You want to move up and move out of that.
Right.
Making phone calls, and getting rejected 80 times a day is not fun. It's just the reality of things.
Right.
So what you want to do is probably an inexperienced guy, but you want to set him up for success as opposed to failure. And a lot of MSPs will make this mistake. It's like they hire a cheap guy, because he's just out of college or just whatever, someone new, and they're like, bring him in and say, okay, yeah, we need more sales. We need more customers. So here, start calling people.
Right.
And the kids like, they don't know they haven't been trained on sales. They don't know all the stuff that we're talking about. That's one of the things that we can use here is, this is a training ground for salespeople. That you don't teach them about your business, who you should be calling, what's your message, the things we were talking about last week with, what's your unique value proposition. They need to understand that. So you need to, I'll give you, for instance, when I first started ages and ages ago, I worked for one of the largest tech companies in the world at that time, EDS, and I went over to their sales program. Well, they didn't just like send me out and say, yeah, start selling to corporations, right? I went through like weeks and weeks of training, and then you go with a senior sales guy, and then you become like a junior dude and so forth. So it was, they teach you all the concepts. And that's different. We're talking about a big corporation, right? But you want to do like a mini version of that. You don't want to throw the guy to the wolves. You're setting you and him up for failure. So if you find someone you like, getting some resources, getting them into this program, doing online sales training. We didn't have that back then, but there's probably tons of online sales SDR training classes. What to do. Here are the tricks of the trade, those are the kind of things that I would say. So yeah, you're not going to find, it's very rare that you find someone that's been doing it, for more than a couple of years, like Brian did. Like, it's either you succeed in that and move up, or you don't succeed and you're out and you're on to whatever else you're going to do.
Alex
Nobody
said that
wants
she was
that
going to help Charlie Bashir. So our SDR that's going to pop on occasionally, she said she was going to help him.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I'm thinking that I have one of my kids, who's I got one that's going to be graduating from college.
There you go. Yeah. All they have.
I like the idea about having that some type of online learning, like Coursera or some type of online resource for them to get some training.
Yeah, absolutely. And YouTube makes it so easy. And
Right.
and even if you're investing a little bit for a program, better one. And honestly, I haven't looked into it, but that's something I think would be worthwhile for us to do. Because a lot of them, as new guys come on, this is a really common problem. And it's really common that, like I said, an MSP, they don't know about sales, right? It's not like they came up with, like Brian or I did, doing sales for decades.
Mhm.
They've been tech guys, right? You've been in technology your whole life. You're not a sales manager.
That's right.
You cast in that role because you're now the business owner, but so it makes it hard.
That's exactly right.
It's a really common problem. We'll take a look into. I made a note to look into some training programs that might be pretty good, and we'll ask around as well. The last one on the list Dean mentioned was partnerships, and partnerships can be really lucrative. And it can accelerate things really quickly without a lot of heavy lifting if you fill the right niche and find the right partner. So back to Bashir, your situation with nonprofits and what are they called?
Foundations.
Foundations. I mean, there may be different consulting companies out there that work with foundations. They may go into the foundation and work on them with their sales and their marketing, how to do better fundraising. They may help with operations. You could be their technical arm. They anytime they bring you in to a new foundation, and they bring you in for $100,000 deal, they get 20K or whatever. It's like, makes the company better, makes their client better. They think they're great because they brought in these great tech guys that are super experienced. So that's just one example. It could even be with the foundation. If there's a national, like you said, the national foundation is putting on the thing. Sometimes they're a little bit more leery about like kind of going down one road, because a lot of times they're not as profit driven. They're a foundation themselves, right? If they're just an org. But there are other people that are usually in a vertical. And if you can find some good partners that are out there all day with big sales teams going after foundations and nonprofits, and you can somehow add something to their services, it's a great way to go.
You thought about connecting with and partnering up with those firms that do audits, because all the nonprofits have to do multiple audits throughout the year.
Yep.
And part of the audit process is to look at the IT systems and the controls in place and cybersecurity now. So
right. And if they do an audit and they're basically flunking these people, and they say, do you guys have a good tech company? Here's a big list of all the stuff you need to fix. They say no, and they say, well, we know someone who works specifically with foundations.
Yeah.
And they're a great IT company and can handle all this stuff for you. Want me to make an introduction? And that, because they know they're going to get 15% on the back end if you guys sign the deal with them.
Right.
It behooves them to do it, right? It's a win-win. But it's, they have teams of people out there. The stuff that you're trying to do at a small level, they have a mature sales organization that's out there doing it. So if you can ride their coattails, it's great. Jeff, that might work for you as well with some of the different cloud, whether it's a consulting company that doesn't actually have the tech back end on it, or if it's one of the verticals that you think is really primed for cloud migration, because not everybody is.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, we've basically been trying to work with like software developers and web developers right now, because they kind of look for the people that we're looking for. So.
Oh, interesting. So, okay, so you're working with it. So when they go in and they find someone to do like a custom application, they also talk about, okay, interesting.
Yeah, or the software developers like expected to take care of their network whenever they're just to develop the software, right? So
oh wow,
we partner with them to basically do the network management and let them do the software development part of it. So.
Oh, that's interesting. And are there software development companies that want to take on that IT, or they say they do? I'm surprised.
From what I've gathered, it's just that it's kind of, I don't know, just they're like, oh, well, you're part of that organization, or you're a computer person, right? So because you're a computer person, you know everything, so you can do all the things, right? So I think that's just kind of how
that's how it, yeah. Okay.
Those type of things. They're just like, oh, they're assumed to,
Right.
You take your car to Big O Tires and you expect them to be able to fix the oxygen sensor, like
right.
Like take that to a different mechanic or whatever.
Right. If you can code, you can obviously pull cable through the walls, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are there any I'm just thinking about some of the bigger niches that would be great targets for cloud, like maybe delivery services, which I know have been booming for the last few years with COVID and Amazon and the demise of retail, and there's just more and more companies out there doing delivery services. The cloud would really benefit if they don't already have it. I'm just wondering if are there consulting companies out there that you could work with that target logistics and delivery, or whatever else you think might be the kind of the perfect verticals. And we also talked about going a little bit bigger, right? Up market. The smaller guys aren't going to appreciate the efficiencies that you do when they're more concerned about every penny.
Exactly. Yeah.
But partnering is always, it kind of always should be. When I put together a marketing plan for a company, that's one of the pieces that's always there. Partnerships. Who's available? Working with, do we have anyone that's dedicated to that, to going out and making those partnerships? That's something else you can also look to do if there's some kind of, call it, that's generally called business development, a biz dev guy. And their kind of sole, or technology, it could be technology or service licensing. They, their sole role in life and is going out to companies and making deals, to partner together. If you're selling a certain technology, it might get integrated into a piece of hardware or integrated into another software. If it's service, it's going out and talking to companies that might need some kind of technology service and seeing how, they're kind of doing that outbound thing, but they're just at a much higher level because you're dealing with, C-level people at corporations generally. But those are great places to get into.
Yep.
With specialized services. So we kind of went down the list there, guys. Any questions on any of those things, or anything you want to go into more?
I think that's. I have a question about the flow, on the process of setting everything up. Should we be looking at the CRM and setting that up at the same time as we're doing the pipeline, or should we just finish the pipeline setup first and then go into CRM?
Well, pipeline setup, I think you guys are kind of working through that now, right? Pipeline is really just your dashboard to see deals, line them up. Where are they? How do you move? So it's the salesperson's tool. CRM is another tool. Right now, you don't have any salespeople. So you're not really doing any outbound, right? It's a referral that happens occasionally, once every few months or once a year. You probably close the referrals. I guess I would hold off making an investment right now in the CRM until you have figured out what you want to do with getting a salesperson, because it's really going to help the salesperson keep things organized. Because if you're outreaching to 100 people a day, that's a lot to keep track of. And then to realize where you are with all those guys and which ones did you reach, and what's the next steps and what are your tasks. CRM organizes all that. And it also lets you see that, hey, he said he made 100 calls today, but it's only showing that he made 37. You'll be able to see that in the CRM. So as a sales manager, that's important to know. But you might see it on that same day when he only did 37 calls. He put out 300 emails or whatever he did, or he's doing something else. So all of those, or did 2 demos, those are things that all should be housed in the CRM. CRMs can have a couple different components. I'm talking about the sales component. CRM also can have a marketing component. And that's where you are able to automate emails. So say you go to that show and you collect, 200 business cards. Sometimes they have scanners at shows to scan the badge. So you don't have to grab business cards. A lot of time people don't have them. And if you have questions, by the way, Bashir, when you get that perspective on what might be the best package to choose on that, I'm happy to, take a peek at it for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I'll try to have it by before next week.
Okay. Yeah. Because shows do get sold out. That's why that was the one thing I wanted to mention to you. So you might not have a chance to go in March. It might be done. So yeah, I'd contact him sooner than later.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to head out, guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.
So the other part of like HubSpot, they have a sales CRM that helps that salesperson and keeps track of all the customer interactions. The marketing module that attaches in all of those people that you got at the show, or you get a list from Apollo and you import it in for him to be calling and dialing on. You can also set up automated emails. So it's called lead nurturing, right? These people may not know you, or maybe they've done something with you, or you've created some kind of article or asset talking about specialized IT for foundations, how to take your foundation to the next level with AI, something like that. That would get a lot of attention, by the way. You could write an article like that. And we can tell you about how you could get that done without really sitting down and writing the whole thing. There are writers out there that can do it for you. That's a great thing, an asset to have. Sorry, I'm getting off. I'll come back to that in 1 second. So you get an influx of foundations or nonprofits. And you call them and you weren't able to get an appointment with them, but you know that they're in your target audience. They're busy. They're not interested right now. You want to keep them in a database. You want to keep that database growing and growing, and you want to be nurturing that database. So, and you can do it in phases. Like the first phase, maybe forever. It's, once a week, you're sending them out something that's interesting. Hey, here's some cool, it could be a reprint of a story somewhere else. This was really interesting, and it automates it. And so it's just sending it out to sections of your database, every day. And it's pushing those messages out. So you're staying top of mind. You get to be more and more well-known over time. So that's what marketing automation, when someone talks about marketing automation, that's what they're talking about. It's having that cadence that it's automatically just happening. Different than the SDR who's writing, hey, just dropped you a voicemail, hoping we can connect, blah, blah, blah. That's a personal email, right? A one-on-one. This is an automated that everybody basically, you can customize it. So it'll say, hey, first name, and it'll say, hey, Jeff, hey, Bashir. So it'll pop that in. So it looks like it's personal, but it's not. And you get them. We all get those every day.
Yeah, I get 20 of them a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm deleting emails all day long.
Yeah. And then yeah. Shoot, I was going to tell you something. I didn't want to get off track on the CRM. What was I saying? That's a summary that Steve's AI-based autopilot gave of
set up CRM system, Research
Yeah.
training.
I'll tell
Wow.
conference organizers for March event. That's for you. That's pretty cool.
Man,
So
that's pretty slick.
yeah. I believe Autopilot's free too, by the way. Just Google it and yeah, it'll give you, and if you want to read the full summary of our conversation, you can, it does it right here.
Man, that's
Otter.
slick.
Yeah, otter.ai.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. How are we doing on time here? We got about 5 minutes. Something else I was going to tell you. I can't remember what it was. Shoot.
Yeah, it was something about just that setting up a system with AI, I thought.
Yeah, I mean there are AI tools that can help too as well in writing things. Oh, I was going to talk a little bit about writing materials. So if you say you wrote an article on, and actually Jeff, this would be really good for you too, because people don't understand, right? That like Jeff focuses on cloud transitions for companies, and especially big companies understand, right? Because they have a CTO and a CIO and they understand cloud and they've been doing this. Other companies may not understand as much. So it could be benefits, could be an article on benefits for a mobile workforce, or the benefits of moving to the cloud for a mobile workforce, and it's a couple page article that talks about it. And if you have really helpful articles and they call it content, pieces of content, it could be an infographic, it could be an article, it could be a blog, it could be a white paper, which is just a longer one, which is more for a technical audience, probably not as much for you guys because you're selling to business audiences generally, but they don't understand technology. So, why it's important to them, how you could help change their business, how they could get better reporting or save money or whatever it might be. And it's not like you have to sit down, because sometimes if you're not a writer and you haven't written a lot of stuff since, high school or whatever, your term paper, there are tons of freelance writers that focus on technology. And we can tell you how to hook up with some of those guys. And you tell them a topic and we can help you with that. That's another thing we could help you with, coming up with a topic and some of the key points, because you kind of want to lead them a little bit and say, hey, but they'll do the research, they'll write it, they're good writers, and they'll send it to you and you can say, I'd like it a little bit more tweaked this way. If you want to get any kind of freelancers to do anything, it could be graphics, could be animations, it could be writing. Two sites I'd recommend. One is called Fiverr, as in the number 5. Like, I'm going to give you a Fiverr to do this job, because a lot of times they'll say what they'll do for you for $5. It's like, for $5, I'll do a 50-word blog for you. But if you want a 400-word article, okay, that's going to be $37 or $50 or whatever. So it's Fiverr. And then a competitor of theirs is called Upwork. And it's basically, these are communities of freelance, mostly kind of marketing people, writers, designers, people that do animation, video production. It's like, yeah, if you could get with some of your clients and we can work on that. Here are a few questions to ask one of your clients and do a video testimonial. They're awesome for your website. And if you could do a Zoom call and record it and then give it to the guy with your logo, and he'll turn the logo into something really cool, and he'll add titles along the bottom that you want him to do. And so yeah, video editors and production people are the other guys. Hello.
Hi guys, I just wanted to stop in and say hi because it's office hours, and I figured Bashir might actually be on here, and he is.
Bashir, Jeff, and we just lost, who did we just lose, guys?
Brian.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Hi, Jeff.
Hey there.
Hello. Did
So,
Pete, did you make Bashir fill out his pipeline for me tomorrow?
I told him it was his homework, and he might be getting called on tomorrow because he got a bye last week because it was his first week.
Oh, a
Oh,
buy.
you,
I thought you.
you
buy.
gave him a buy. You didn't make him go through,
That's true.
2 days in. So, I think, did Dean give you these, Bashir, this list?
Yes.
Yeah, so this list, Alex, referrals, systems, dialers and email, marketing and partnerships, about ways to go beyond just referrals, which they had been doing. So basically, we've been spending most of the time kind of going through each one of those and ideas on how to do it and what they mean. So
Yeah, very helpful.
it's been a very marketing meeting. So hey, it's my world.
As it should be when I ask you to fill in. So that's perfect. One thing I would ask both of you, Jeff and Bashir, to do is on your pipeline for tomorrow in preparation, because I know you sent it to me the way you filled it out. What I noticed was that you didn't set goals. And if you don't set yourself a goal and try to break it out based on MRR or whatever you want to break it out with, it's going to be really hard to achieve a goal if you can't set a goal. So if you need help on setting the goal in the future, that's totally fine. We can work through that, but just put something there as a placeholder for me. And then for the open items that you have in your pipeline, and Jeff, you don't have to worry about this yet because this will be the first one you see as well. But just keep it in mind on your pipeline itself, got to put even a gut check of how much you think that is going to be worth. So if it's a deal that's worth $25,000 and you're only at 20%, that's fine, because when you put $25,000 and then you put it into 20%, it will automatically weight it down to be worth only like $8,000 or $2,000. But then, or five, all right, fine, $5,000. Don't do math for me. So I calculate so well in my head. So what will end up happening is once you set that goal up at the top and then you fill out the cells properly, even if it's just sort of gut checking, right? We can get really good about our guts later on, but just put something there for now. It'll show you how much you need in order to build your pipeline throughout the quarter. And so that's going to start putting you in the right trajectory. So you got to put some sort of value in there, and then we will talk through why you got to where you were inside of that pipeline.
Okay, cool. And yeah, Pete was telling me about how I should categorize them, in terms of the stage that they're in. So I'm clear on that now.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to take 3 minutes over. I just wanted to come in and say hi.
Hello.
Oh, and Alex, Brian wanted to, he had a question about uploading some data into a system or something, and I said for him to drop it. He said I needed to talk to Alex or Nick, and I said drop Nick a note and guys can jump on a call.
Yeah, he should have access by now to the platform to actually put a note inside of our chat, but I'll follow up with that because you guys are getting that invitation here shortly as well. So I'll see you later.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
All
Bye.
right.
I see you
Bye.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.